Ladies and gentlemen, boys and ghouls, all of our non-binary friends, everyone on the spectrum and in between, my name is Ken Stacknick, and welcome to the Shutter Show. These are my guests,
David Marlowe.
And our special guest,
Cadie Sexton.
That's right, back for a second week in a row, this week to talk about the 1973 film, The Baby.
The Baby.
Katie, David, how are the two of you doing?
This is all my fault.
Yes, this is one that we can blame the wife for.
Well, you know, I saw the poster and it looked intriguing.
Yeah.
So we should really blame the poster, the marketing people, right?
Which by the way, the marketing,
right.
it does work, but the marketing is in no way, shape, or form accurate. I would not even go so far as to call this a horror movie.
It is.
It's rated PG.
Yes, no, that is one of those. It is one of those movies like Jaws being rated PG, or in particular, my favorite is Planet of the Apes being rated G, despite the fact that movie involving the death of the entire human race, human lobotomies, and you get to see Charlton Heston's penis, and so like it's a real strong G. Where I would
this is also,
I really miss the 70s rating system.
but this is pre PG-13 too.
Yes, absolutely yes. No, PG-13 got its start with
mid-90s, right?
No. It was in the 80s. It was Temple of Doom and Gremlins, I want to say, are the two movies that kind of forced them to create an in-betweeny. Spielberg, from what I understand, was a big leader to the MPA about being like, look, this PG to straight R thing seems pretty hard. Could we maybe have kind of a
little wiggle room?
Yeah, or just something for someone older than 10 but younger than 18. And so that's where, from what I understand, that is a very complicated and backroom discussion.
And now I feel like it has no place in this current society, given that streaming exists and you could pretty much find just about anything you want.
There's no enforcement for it other than, from what I understand, for pornography. Like, if you want to watch like an R-rated movie on Netflix, there's not like a carding system.
Yeah.
Right. I know obviously there are parental setups where you can, as a parent, prevent certain people from watching certain things of a certain maturity level, but there isn't, if you have that or if you're logged into your parent's account, we don't have the AI as of right now, from what I understand, to like use your camera to be like, hey, no, that's Timmy. Hey, Timmy, I'm gonna need you to some ID to show that you're older than what we have in the thing, or you're gonna have to try a brother out here or something. But no, you're not allowed.
Well,
to
even
watch
if
that.
you log on to bevmo.com or
Yeah.
something, I'm pretty sure you have to check that you're 21 years old.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, same thing with pornography websites. What year were you born? Well, there's no way to check, but like they're like, we at least ask. But this is also one of those movies where, let's be very clear, a lot happens, but also much kind of like Rosemary's Baby. And I'm not saying they are similar in quality, but I'm saying that they are both a lot. Doesn't happen.
They are tamer than expected.
It's more implied. It happens off screen when the
shown via picture versus.
When two of the characters copulate, we shall say in non-spoiler terms, you don't see it. It's not like a big sex scene. It's just implied that it happens. And for an exploitation movie, for a horror movie, a lot of times you would expect to see something. And I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that this movie shows restraint in a way
for very good reason.
Well, for very good reason, but also in a way that you would not expect, because let us not forget, this is the 70s. Rape and incest and all sorts of terrible stuff happened in movies all the time, and it was considered fine at the time, or appropriate for movies. I'm obviously not okay with that. I am just saying it was a different time, it was a different place where they were fine with different stuff that is not okay now. Mm-hmm. And, well, the baby is a lot of that. It is.
Do you want to describe to the audience, Ken, just what this movie is?
So, the short version of the story is there's a social worker who is assigned to a family who has a baby, and she is assigned to go and check on said baby. Said baby is a approximately, I want to say, 35-year-old man named Baby, who sleeps in a giant crib, wears giant adult diapers, is dubbed by an actual baby to make it really uncomfortable.
I figured that was what that was. Yeah.
And I will say, David Manzy or Mooney, depending on how he's credited throughout his career, you might recognize him as the photographer from Chaplin. I'm completely kidding. That's a complete background thing. I just thought it was really funny that this guy, the baby, was in Chaplin. He's really good as a baby. Like say whatever you want about the rest of this movie. I will say, other than the Frankenstein that was done by Benedict Cumberbatch and what's his name from Hackers? Who was in Sherlock?
Yes,
not Sherlock.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Elementary, Miller or something. Anyway, the version of Frankenstein that they did, other than their version, which has the most incredible infantile movement by an adult I have ever seen. No, but that's a large man. How is he moving like a baby kind of way? This is a incredibly strong second. Mm-hmm. It is... He commits. He commits, but he also gets a lot of the details and intricacies. And it's not the cartoon version of a baby. It's a real it's a real version of what a baby does when it moves. It's when you hear a really amazing impression. Like if you hear a Christopher Walken impression, the best ones don't sound real because your version of Christopher Walken in your head is big and crazy, but then you'll hear them back to back with him and you're like, oh my God, that's uncomfortably close. That person could spoof them to their family or something. Yeah. And that's what this, watching David Mooney do his thing was, for me at least, the most impressive part of this movie. Well,
and it's not just David Mooney who I thought was very impressive, but honestly, a majority of the cast. I was surprised at how everyone very much showed up to work for this film.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I would say the only one who was uncomfortable to watch for me, acting chop-wise, was the woman who played Alba. The blonde one.
Ah, yes.
Oh, yes.
Everybody else was...
Hers was very Friday the 13th, cheerleader-esque. Oh, yeah, this woman is marketing herself as the bitch of the film.
Well, I think she very much also was cast because more of her shape than her chops.
Yes.
To say. It was one of those. Also, one of the things I want to say about this movie that I think is very interesting is actually how female dominated it is.
Yeah.
How much it
very
is.
Much so.
It passes the Bechdel test. It passes a lot of tests. Almost every man in the movie is utterly incompetent.
Yep.
So
yeah, the guy who plays Dennis, which can we just acknowledge the fact that this character is pretty much a serial killer?
Oh, completely.
Totally.
I love your skin.
He's like, I'm more of a skin guy. And then makes some kind of joking passing phrase about cannibalism. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, don't be anywhere alone with this person.
It's some real Ted Bundy, some real Silence of the Lambs kind of ooh.
Well, and Anne, the social worker, her boss, completely incompetent too.
He's like, you're... Sorry, go on.
No, just you're telling me all these things. There's The previous social worker disappeared. Oh, that happens all the time. Don't worry about it.
Which, by the way, the night before we had watched the movie The Fuzz, which you had lent us.
Hot Fuzz, yes.
Hot Fuzz. And once again, like, that was the floating joke, was just like, oh, it's just an accident. Accidents happen all the time.
It's not murder.
And so then we're there's no way this could be murder. And then we watch The Baby, and it's just like, some people just disappear all the time. That doesn't mean it was murder.
Look, just because this family is keeping a 35-year-old adult man as a baby that they claim has not been able to grow up and can't really use its muscles and is in some sort of mental decline, I don't know which is the proper words to describe whatever is
people
in theory wrong, in quotes, with baby. I know the word that they use in the movie is the R word, which is not a word that we're going to use because that's not the word that you're supposed to use. But also, it was a different time. I know I have
that was pretty much the classification for it at the time.
I know I have a friend who had a close family member who they took care of in their house, and they described him as such because that was the word that you used at the time. And he's kind of like, look. I don't, I understand that sometimes I'll slip into saying that word because that was the word that we used at the time. And also, hey man, I helped take care of him. So maybe mind your own business. And, cause I'm not offended and he's not offended. So, but I'm not going to use it because I know some people are offended, but it's, out
of respect, we're not going to be using the word.
This movie is so strangely woke, but at the same time completely
oblivious,
backwards, but also oblivious, but also, dude, you can't do that. But also, I'm not going to kink shame anyone. So, in this, except for the incest stuff, I'll kink shame incest. I think we're going to start experimenting on Shutter Show with a spoiler break of some sort. Okay. Where, the first part of the show is going to be us trying to convince you to watch this movie. And then we'll give you, a spoiler split moment. Where, after this point, we are going to spoil this movie. So if you want to go watch this movie, pause it, go watch the movie, and then, come back in a day or so, or so, whatever it is, and then finish the movie.
Cool.
But, and we'll see how long we can get into this. I
know it's hard.
It's tough because this is a very niche movie.
Well, it's a very niche movie. It's also a movie where technically not a whole lot happens, but I don't think it's too much of a spoiler to say that the social worker and the baby start to become dangerously close. And that is where I'm saying technically everything that's happening on screen is legal. It is, I'm not going to kink shame anyone who might be into a man who acts like a baby. I am saying I'm not. And also, it's just a movie filled with things that you are not expecting to see that are both strangely very progressive, but also at the same time very of a previous time.
Yes. But which is why I thought it very odd that everyone just seemed so blasé about what was going on in this house between the mother, her daughters, and her son, baby. In that particular case, even, the neighbors alone would have brought up some kind of fuss.
Well, all the people at his birthday party, right? That's not a spoiler. There's a birthday party.
It's so strange.
And
how old do you say he is?
Yeah. Yes. No.
Is he just always one?
But all those people there just assume that it's fine and dandy, whatever's happening in this house, right?
Well, the idea I think behind it is that her son is mentally challenged.
Yes.
And so because of that, he needs special care. And so I'm guessing the idea is that the guests at the birthday party are aware of this, and so they they're being polite and they're showing up to support her son. No matter what, he's You as a mother, you take care of him.
Yeah.
But I would also argue that the people within the orbit of this family are relatively supportive of the mother, her sisters, and they think that what they're doing is they're taking care of their mentally ill son and brother. And outside of that, the party makes perfect sense. I was really confused by the idea that they were even having a birthday party. And I would say that the way that everything is lit and the guests that are there almost makes it look like a swinger party.
Oh, absolutely. There's some real keys in a fishbowl vibe coming from this party. And that's one of the things. So, watching this movie...
It's a real left turn.
You would think... You would understand in the 70s, the time where it was like, hey, Mom, Dad, I'm going out riding my bike with my friends. Where are you going? The hills. Okay, be back before sundown kind of times would be like, well, of course this family can raise a baby in their house because they don't talk to anybody about it and nobody knows about it and everybody kind of keeps to themselves.
People mind their own business.
Yeah, there's no internet, there's no Twitter. And as long as the baby doesn't really go outside, he does hang out in the backyard a bit. But, you can have some high hedges and suddenly you can get away with a lot. And then, that birthday party scene happens and you're like, oh, everyone's oddly cool with this.
And baby's just kind of running, he's crawling around doing his own thing.
Having a good time.
And folks are drinking around him and they're... Because, let's face it, it is a full-grown 35-year-old man. It's not like it's a real kid that you gotta watch your language around.
It's not like it's a big baby.
Yeah.
They don't go as far as giving the baby a beard, but it is very clearly like an adult man, where you could, in a cartoon movie...
He looks almost like John Lennon.
A bit,
he looks like an infantile John Lennon.
Yep.
Yeah, kind of.
That haircut.
But he doesn't... they're not going for what if there was just a baby who was man-sized. No, this is a man.
What if John Lennon was a baby?
Yeah.
There we go. That's Netflix,
$1 million idea.
That's our elevator pitch. We want Danny Boyle to direct, and we think that the kid who played what's his name, Paul Dano, should play John Lennon.
Oh God! Oh, this role would definitely be, if they remade this film, it would definitely be Paul Dano as Baby.
Oh, he would be very good indeed. I would also be fine with Daniel Radcliffe, who after Swiss Army Man, I know would probably be game for something as interesting as this.
Amazing.
He is one of those just gems that anytime I see him on screen, I'm like, I will watch Daniel Radcliffe any time of the day.
I can picture it.
But yeah, but then are we able now to go a little bit more into spoiler territory?
Yeah. So real quick, couple of pieces of information I thought were interesting that I'll share, and then we will have the spoiler split.
Yes.
And we'll go into it. Now, first off, the cinematography by this movie was Michael D. Margulies. Now, he did a couple of movies that I really like. One is Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, which is one of the best car chase movies of all time. It's one of the movies that Quentin Tarantino cites in Death Proof as one of his primary inspirations, and a movie filled with just absolutely awesome car racing in it. The second movie you might know his work from is Police Academy, which is pretty fun. He also did Stranger Within, which is a Richard Matheson film.
Yeah.
Written by... And then the thing I found the most interesting, and I love when we find little bits like this, he also was the cinematographer for Minnie and Moskowitz, which is a John Cassavetes independent film. So just one of those interesting, weird... Really, you worked with Cassavetes and you made The Baby. That's pretty interesting. Now,
I would say it's pretty interesting if you met anybody who made The Baby. I'm like, you have to tell me what production was like.
I really hope somebody on Chaplin recognized Dave Mooney and was like, dude, you were The Baby. Please tell me about... I hope it was Attenborough. Please tell me all about working with The Baby. All right. And then the director, Ted Post, directed a bunch of movies and a bunch of stuff that you guys are probably familiar with. He was the director of Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Mm-hmm. He was the director of Magnum Force, one of the Dirty Harry sequels. He was the director of Hang 'em High, the Clint Eastwood Western. And he also directed episodes of Columbo, The Twilight Zone, and then pretty much every single Western television show that ever existed in the 50s
Gunsmoke
or
included.
60s. Oh, like all of them. Because I don't know if a lot of our listeners know this. In the 40s, 50s, and 60s, the number of Western TV show it was usually about 50% of all programming on television and in movies was Westerns. And as we got past the 50s, it started to trickle down in like 40s and 30s and then 20s and 10s. But for a long time, there were like 3 networks on television, and they had, 8 programs on at night, and 6 of them would be Westerns, and 2 of them would be the news. Or then maybe there'd be like a spy show or an FBI or something else, a Dragnet maybe. But it was all the Westerns.
And the way that this movie is filmed, I would say it's almost very much like an episode of television.
Oh, it is very televisual.
It strikes me as, and someone said this, he also did a couple of episodes of Twilight
Zone.
Or Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
Sorry. Very, very different. Very.
Yes.
So sorry.
Ted Poster.
He was behind that monstrosity of a series. Little did you know that the man who made The Baby
also made a movie where a werewolf falls in love with a baby.
There you go.
Have you not seen Breaking Dawn?
I have heard of this. I have not bothered to waste hours of my life.
Anna Kendrick is in it, and a werewolf falls in love with a baby, and Guillermo del Toro's cinematographer, Guillermo Navarro, is the cinematographer, so it is gorgeous. And they are glittery when they play baseball, and it is... I'm not going to say that they're good movies, but I'm going to say they're perfectly directed trash. I love the Twilight movies so much. They're so bad. Katie will do like a whole Twilight podcast, just you and me.
Yes. I've seen the first one,
This is the one where you just force David to watch all of the Twilight movies.
So it's just like every episode we're going to watch the Twilight movies in order. But we're just going to keep doing it again
if we ever,
and again.
And then it'll be the Twilight Zone of Twilight.
Exactly. It'll be like, and this is the 15th time we're watching Breaking Dawn Part 1 again. And you're like, what did we learn this time? And you're like, Anna Kendrick is still an absolute
I learned that
queen
life is
and did
meaningless.
nothing wrong. Yes, and life is meaningless. And why have I chosen to do this?
And of course, we watched Noelle last night as well. We did a double feature thing where we watched The Happiest Season, which made me the maddest I've been in a while.
Kristen Stewart
deserves fucking better.
And Anna Kendrick. Bring it all back. We'll tie it all together.
But anyway. So to correct what I was saying, he directed a couple episodes of Twilight Zone.
Yes.
And this very much plays. It looks like an episode of television in the 70s.
There's not a lot of cinematic storytelling. It is very televisual in its presentation.
Yeah, except for anything that's filmed around the staircase in her house.
That's the closest thing. And to be fair, it is very hard to make a staircase not cinematic. You kind of have to be completely unaware of the upstairs, downstairs power dichotomy that can be shown, the power of someone walking down the stairs or up the stairs, a fight happening on the stairs, a slip going in either direction, a hand on the banister. All of these things can be very strong. Like, if you can't make stairs work as a director, you need to find someone who is a director.
I recommend basket weaving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I would suggest something, but filmmaking would not be it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, I would say this is a good time for us to say this is the spoiler split zone.
Okay.
This is the moment where we can start discussing what happens in the movie. So if this movie sounds fun, it sounds interesting, it sounds like something that's going to blow your mind, you don't want to know what's happening, go ahead and pause the podcast right now, because we will still exist in ones and zeros, and then go watch the movie, and then come back, and then finish the episode, and then you can enjoy finding out. However, if you don't care, if you're just one of those absolute rebels who just like doesn't care if he knows what's going to happen.
I read the last page of a book first.
Yes, exactly. If you're that kind of person, then you just stay on. And if you've seen the movie before and you just want to keep hearing what we're saying, stick along. So that's where we are now. So, caution. There'd be spoilers here.
Yes.
Here we go.
Okay.
Wait, can I just start and say?
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yes.
That
ruins the shit.
Yes. Well, at the beginning, you said that Anne was assigned to the family. But didn't she say she specifically chose them?
Actually,
that
yes,
she
you are correct.
wanted
Yes.
to to work on this case.
She specifically, like, she worked to get there. She sevened her way in there.
Yes. Which all makes sense when we get to the end.
Yes, absolutely.
But, so okay, here's my question.
Yes.
Spoilerific question.
Yes.
So, yes, she wanted Baby to be a playmate for her husband who was injured in an accident.
Yes. So let's just to set this up for the people who are the crazy people who don't know what happened but are here anyway, and we love
They're
it.
like, wait, what?
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
So
here we are.
Twist first.
In the movie, it is said, it is implied that the social worker's husband had died in an accident. And it turns out, no, he didn't die in that accident. He is just now in a similar state as Baby. So she got herself assigned to this case so she could murder all of the caretakers and family members who took care of Baby, so that way her husband would have a permanent playmate. And the end of the movie is all three of them, like,
playing in the pool with Witch underneath the pool, which, by the way, that is a clever way to hide a body. Not gonna... I'm just like, oh.
Yeah. Huh. But, so... does she want Baby to be like her husband, if you know what I'm saying?
Well,
Is that what's implied?
Well, it's definitely, the skimpiness of the particular... Like, the bathing suit she is wearing at the end is definitely not a mom bathing suit. It is definitely skimpier. It's still the 70s, so it's not like a thong bikini or anything.
Right.
But it's definitely like a sexier bikini, or not. I don't even know if it's a bikini. It's
I think it was a bikini.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
But it's kind of like a modest bikini.
Yeah.
But like it's still got some like.
It's this social worker fucks.
Yeah. No, exactly. That is a very good way of putting it. And,
well, she kissed her husband on the lips, and then she turned and kissed Baby on the lips.
And definitely the scene that kind of lets you know that things are not great in Denmark when it comes to the social worker is when she is babysitting Baby, and Baby gets very hungry, and he is a full-grown man, so she tries to be like, I'm going to go get you a bottle, and he's like, but you've got these breasts right here, and milk comes out of those, and he starts to he attaches to said breasts for the extraction of said milk, and while she is uncomfortable, or at least finds it socially awkward at first, she very quickly finds she is okay with this. And
which is which I will, in judgment of this film, is very out of character for this.
Wait, when did that happen?
The babysitter.
That was the babysitter, though, not Anne.
No, not Anne. No. Because you're talking about the babysitter, right?
Oh, no. Okay, yes. No.
Yeah, so you're talking about...
Sorry.
Okay, I was like...
They both have, like, short black hair, so I got them confused.
I was like, wait, when did that happen?
Yeah, no, okay, yes. No, but, like, there's definitely, stuff that's going on. Also, I really... like.
That's an insane scene, though.
Yes. Also, the scene where they...
There's so much happening in this movie,
They
by the way.
invite a babysitter over, and they're like, here's our adult man baby, and the babysitter's like, this is fine.
Well, but they also set it up where that she was about to go have sex with her boyfriend or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if I
go ahead,
there's a lot
all
going
over the
on
place.
in this movie.
Okay, so like, this movie is crazy. It is a quiet, crazy movie. So the scene that we're kind of talking about, because I feel like I do have to lay this out, because Ken, I'm going to show you something in a moment that's very hilarious.
Oh no.
So this babysitter,
this better not be your Quato.
Played by actress Erin O'Reilly.
I'm gonna be very upset.
Oh, this babysitter is played by actress Erin O'Reilly. She's doing what most babysitters in horror movies do. She's sitting in the living room watching TV, talking to her boyfriend on the phone, pretty much being like. She seems very conservative. She's like saying, "Oh, all you want to talk about is sex." And you're like, oh, I guess I can come over later, whatever. She doesn't seem like she's into it at all. And then she hears Baby upstairs and like, well, I've got to go take care of this man-child upstairs. And she refers to him as Freak. In being like, she's accepted that this is the job she has. It pays well, whatever. So she goes up and he's whining. And as a lot of kids do, he doesn't want to go back to bed. He gets out of the crib, runs around. And then she gets him all riled up, and he bumps his head. And comforting him, he then is being like, okay, it's feeding time now.
I want the booze.
And then latches. And then she's like, oh, no. And then in a
like,
very out of character moment is very like, well, I guess this is okay. And then the parent comes home.
Almost feel like they were setting it up for her to be kind of slutty.
Yeah.
And
because they were like, because then she said to her boyfriend, well, I'll make sure my panties are off or whatever. So I feel like they set it up so that she would like it.
It speaks to me of like a woman who's been told from the very beginning that you always have to play hard to get no matter what, even if you are a sexually confident woman with her own agency and able to do her own thing. Especially at the time, it was like even if you really do want it, you don't say that kind of. Like that was kind of the vibe that I got. And then so when this is happening, she's like, no, well, okay,
this feels nice.
But then the mother comes home with her two daughters.
Yes.
And they lose their shit. And
Absolutely.
they beat the living shit out of this babysitter and send her away and say, if you say anything, we'll tell them that you were abusing a mental patient.
Yes.
Or a mentally handicapped person, which is a crime, obviously. And this poor actress, Erin O'Reilly, I imagine this was one of the few films that she acted in, because in looking her up on IMDb, this is her profile picture.
Oh no.
Yeah. It is literally the image of baby latched onto her breast.
Oh no.
Erin O'Reilly, and here's the thing. Erin O'Reilly is an actress known for The Princess Diaries, 2001, The Baby, 19...
She was in The Princess Diaries?
I know! Who was she in that?
This sounds like a real...
And the movie in 1974, The Busting.
Who was she in The Princess Diaries?
It really feels like she should get IMDb Pro and fix that. Like, it seems like a real...
if she's still alive, I think
she was a Scottish Duchess.
All right. I feel like we need to start like a Kickstarter or a Patreon.
30 years later.
Yeah.
Help
she didn't
Erin
do anything
O'Malley.
for 30 years.
But yeah, so that's... But like, I had to bring this up to you. Like, that poor woman, the fact that this is her IMDb profile page.
So speaking of other uncomfortable things that happen in this movie, we find out about 2/3 of the way through that one of the sisters of Baby definitely comes in the middle of the night to have sex with him in a scene that is implied but not explicitly shown. Which,
thank God.
Yeah, thank you, Ted Post, for having the taste to not show us something like that.
Once again, PG.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I'm sure it would have been memorable, but I'm real glad that it didn't happen.
I'm actually glad you didn't take your kids to see this.
Yep. Absolutely.
Oof.
This would have confused so many children.
I cannot even begin to explain. Well, I cannot even begin to explain how you would explain to a child what was going on in most of this movie. Let's see here. What other things are there?
Also the fact that Baby is not actually mentally handicapped. He is a fully functioning human man. Like with the thing is that he is being negatively enforced to act like a baby.
Well, ritually abused with
from birth
with a taser.
Yeah.
To act like a baby.
Baby doesn't walk. Baby doesn't talk.
And did they ever really get at the motive as to why they were doing it? It was assumed that they were punishing him because his dad left them. Is that what it was?
It was very much the mother, wanted to punish the only male member of her family because Baby's father walked out on them, and she pretty much says at the beginning, like, he's as good as dead.
Have left too,
because they all had all of her children had different dads.
Yes. And they all walked out. Mm-hmm. Who also, I'd
Except
like to point
for Dennis.
out, sounds exactly like Selma.
That's
from
Alba's
The
boyfriend. Okay.
Oh, so that's Alba's boyfriend?
Yeah.
Okay.
Much
I thought
older.
that was like an ex that they were just okay with. I don't know.
He was feeling her up.
It was so fucking weird.
There's a lot in this movie that is a lot to take, a lot to process, a lot to... so I guess we're moving towards what happens towards the end of this movie.
Yes, yeah.
In which a couple of things happen. The caretaker, the social worker, is able to kidnap Well, like
at the party, she's drugged.
She's drugged at the party, and then the family ties her up, and then baby helps untie her, and they escape together. And then she hangs out with baby and puts him in a suit and tries to teach him to be a man. And then the family finds out where they are
somehow, which is never really established how they find out where.
Right, so she sent them a letter with a picture of baby, so they knew for sure what was going on.
Like a proof of life.
Yeah.
Kind of.
But yeah, we don't know how in the world they found her so
unless she was
easily.
dumb enough to include unless she probably. I mean, this could have been a thing because she intended this all along. She probably just put her return address.
Yeah. Could be.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Could be.
And then
could have easily been that dumb.
Then the family is like, oh shit, it's on like Donkey Kong, and goes to fight her. And that goes very badly for the family. And then she murders all of them.
With the help of her mother.
Indeed.
Mother-in-law.
Yes.
Or yes, mother-in-law, thank you.
And then they team up.
Sorry, I'm just like correcting everybody about this movie.
No.
As if I'm an expert on the baby.
The details...
Which would be a very startling thing to be an expert on.
The details in this movie are very hard to keep
it's a lot.
Straight because, there's a lot. Everything is... What are those infinite patterns called that are just the infinite spins into
like the infinite staircase or the
or
spirals?
the mathematical fractals that are just no matter how far you zoom in, there's still more complexity. That's what this movie is. Every detail that you look into splinters into 1,000 more infinite details. And
it's like Lost, where you finish it, but you still have so many questions.
You still have so much to start. It is very hard to... And then
her mother-in-law is okay with this.
Yeah, her mother-in-law is totally fine
kind
with
of
this.
comes in at the very end is just fucking let's Thelma and Louise this. This is normal. This is this is, you know what? She's turning 35, and this is the present that I'm getting her. I don't know what a white woman's 35 version of a quinceañera is, but that's what she's throwing this woman. She's getting whatever she wants, and whatever she wants is a baby adult playmate for her husband that they may or may not have sex
Which, man,
with.
if she had just been alive during the age of the internet.
Or the medieval times when you could get away with anything. It was... the baby. It's a whole movie.
It's very problematic because both at the same time you're just like, I don't want to kink shame, but also this kink that we're talking about is very much based in abuse.
Yeah.
And in no way, shape, or form is there consent, or is there... And this is just, I don't know, this is one of those kinks where I'm just like, I'm not going to shame, but it will be the one I'm like, I don't get it.
If you're consensual, if you're consensual adults, both dressing up like babies, or just one of you dressing up like babies and doing sexy stuff, look, as long as both of you are consenting adults, and adults, I don't mean just in age, I mean adults in the mental capacity.
Mm-hmm. And if you're using a cattle prod to force them, I can't imagine that's consent.
Yeah.
You fly your freak flag, you do your thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but
we are not here to be a goalie.
Yeah, in the situation of the baby, gonna have to say, not cool.
Yeah. But this once again, the startling thing is this is a very quiet, crazy movie. That it doesn't seem like a lot is going on, but so much is going on.
Much like Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah.
Is it a horror movie? Nothing really happens. Then again, a lady also gets raped by Satan, so a lot happens. Mm-hmm. It's...
Everything, it's the certain things that are implied in the dialogue and in the performances, which at the same time, you would not have gotten nearly as much from this movie if the actors hadn't shown up to fucking work.
Oh, absolutely.
And the mother, by the way, which who is she played by? She's played by
Anjanette Comer.
Ruth Roman is what I'm thinking of.
Oh, okay.
I was
thinking of Anne. Sorry.
Yeah, Anjanette Comer played the and the social worker.
Yes. Okay. Sorry. Got this.
The
My
mother
notes got soaked with wine because I did something stupid. I'm an adult.
But the mother was played by an actress named Ruth Roman, who has done a lot of work. Actually, she's been in Alfred Hitchcock's Strangers on a Train. It's crazy how talented this actress was. And then she's like, cool, who the fuck was her agent? Because he must have sweet-talked the shit out of her for this movie.
That or she needed a boathouse.
Yeah, could be. That or she needed a boathouse. But it was one of those things where, for one thing, also, I'm pretty sure she smoked like a pack of cigarettes a day.
Oh, she
100%.
sounds... She's the closest person I've ever known in real life to sound both like Patty and Selma from The Simpsons.
Yes.
It is very impressive. She literally... It's like a pack of Newports and a margarita every 15 minutes. Bare minimum.
Yeah. And the hair is crazy in this, too.
Oh, my God. It's, the 70s hair in this movie is incredible.
Yeah. If you want to go to a 70s party, a 70s themed party, literally just watch the beginning of this movie.
Watch
and just
Jermaine, especially.
Jermaine's hair.
It's good times.
You've seen you've seen Mars Attacks,
Of
right?
course.
Yeah, it looks a lot like the alien that infiltrates the White House.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Well, Katie, David, I think we've kind of gotten to the end of our discussion about the baby, which means it's time for two things. It's time for a little bit of time travel, and it's time for us to introduce the two movies that we may or may not be, actually, one of these two movies we absolutely will be covering next week.
Or will we?
Or will.
You don't fucking know.
We might even release it.
Who
early.
knows what
We'll see
2020 will
happens.
bring?
Yes, no, 2021 you mean.
It's not
Sorry,
over.
it's 2020.
Oh, it ain't over yet,
Yeah,
baby.
well, that's definitely not true. I am still waiting for winged serpents and aliens and Cthulhu, because at this point...
Oh, the aliens already showed up, didn't you hear?
Yeah, no, absolutely. So there's two movies that I have found that I thought would be possible good Christmas week options for us. One would be The Creep Show Holiday Special, a Shudder exclusive, and the other one would be Rare Exports, the Norwegian Spielberg The Thing movie that also involves an evil Santa Claus. It's pretty great. Anyway, so we're going to travel in time here for just a minute.
My favorite part of the show.
Yep, no, okay. So let me just go ahead and click in the code here for the time machine. Boop, 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 bop, bop, boop, 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 bop. The two of you want to step in. Gotta have it go ahead and fix that tube. Okay, we're gonna walk in. All right, we're gonna go ahead and see you in just a second. We're gonna travel into the future after these two have seen these trailers. You ready?
Huh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So those were some
Holiday
trailers.
cheer.
That's damn, good job 2012 and good job. No, I'm not going to say good job 2020.
No,
fuck you.
absolutely
Fuck
not.
you. No, you do not get a good job.
But a fascinating selection of movies.
Very true.
It is 2020 crazy.
The first one seemed pretty fun. What was that one
First
called again?
one seemed like a lot of fun.
There's the Creep Show Holiday Special.
Yes.
That looked like a fun time.
Indeed. Now, here's the other thing. It is Christmas coming up. We could leave our listeners in suspense and make them open their presents on Christmas.
Ooh.
And not tell them. So it might be one or the other. I mean, the worst case scenario
Could be
is
both.
You might have to spend the next week, which, let's be clear, it's COVID times. It's 5 days till Christmas. You don't have a whole lot to do, so maybe you should watch both of these movies. And then on Christmas Day, you'll find out which of these Shudder Show presents to open. How does that sound?
I think that sounds like a good time.
You want
to
to save our presents
if
for
we did
Christmas?
a double feature with Noel and the happiest season, then goddamn it, we can double feature this motherfucker.
Absolutely, let's do it.
Great.
I'm in.
I'm excited.
Do we like grip fists like Arnold Schwarzenegger and
Yes, all three of us at the same time. We just do like 1, 2, and yeah, with our flexing biceps. Perfect. Okay, David, Katie, do you have any pluggables to plug? And where can we find you on the internets?
you can find me on Instagram at _DWMarlowe. Aside from that, I also run the Instagram page for Shudder Show, so feel free to check us out.
That's
at Shudder_show.
There we go.
And yeah, Katie.
I don't have any pluggables. If you feel like following me on Instagram, you can. I'm at Cadie Sexton, which is CADIESEXTON. It's mostly pictures of me and David and our dogs. So
Yes,
you're
and
welcome.
we've got some adorable puppies.
You're
so you know
welcome.
what? If you want to take a peek into our lives, feel free.
There we go. And so you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Ken Stachnik, STACHNIK. You can find us on Twitter at Shuddershow, SHUDDERSHOW. And other than that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the internet, we just want to say that we love you and go fuck yourselves.
Merry Christmas, you filthy animals. Fuck you.
Absolutely.
Ho, ho, ho.